It's the Ash Raichu here with part 1 of Let's Play Phoenix Wright Fan Trials. Now, I know what you're thinking, Raichu. I thought you said that next was either going to be Dual Destinies or Super Monkey Ball 2. Next is going to be Dual Destinies, but since I can't wait, I am going to be doing Fan Trials until I get Dual Destinies. So, this one is titled Turnabout Escort. Credit goes to Admiral Canuck for making this trial. I've actually played this one before, so I know how everything goes down, but anyways. Quite the meeting today, was it not? Simply smashing, I must say. If you'll excuse me, I'd like to get going. I have quite a long walk home, and it's cold out here. Mr. Mourner, why don't you take my car? My driver would be happy to transport you. I couldn't possibly. It's your limousine, after all. No, I insist. My home is only a 10-minute walk from City Hall. Worry not on my behalf. Thank you. In some ways, fate is like our chauffeur, or our driver, guiding us unquestioningly through our lives, and to our deaths. Bang! Bang! Alright, so, we are in the court. This trial is essentially like a first trial. And we're playing as Apollo here. Trial time. Boy, am I nervous. My first real case in months, and I get almost no notice beforehand. Why can't things go my way for once? Cheer up, Apollo. Look at today as a learning experience. I have no problem with learning. It's just getting schooled that I don't like. My name is Apollo Justice. In case you were wondering, I'm a defense attorney. This is only my 5th major trial, so I'm somewhat inexperienced. But I've learned to go into every case with the same goal. Finding the truth. Wasn't Mr. Wright supposed to be here today, Trucy? Oh, you mean Daddy? He said he was busy writing his exam today. Ah, that's right. The girl in front of me is Trucy Wright, who sort of helps me as my assistant during cases. Trucy's father, Phoenix Wright, actually used to be a legendary defense attorney. Almost 8 years ago, he was disbarred when he presented a forged piece of evidence. Wah wah. It wasn't his fault, of course. The real man behind the forgery was recently discovered. Now Phoenix Wright has been reinstated as a lawyer. Provided he passes the bar admission program once again. Boston thought again, Apollo? Oh no, I was just... never mind. Hello, Mr. Gant. I do so hope I'm not interrupting anything, Apollo, my boy. It's him. It's actually him. Who is this guy, Apollo? I don't recognize him. This is Asterisk de Gaulle. No, that's Damon Gant. He's a very well-known politician in this city. Don't you ever watch TV? I feel like the roles are supposed to be reversed here. Only magic shows. Anywho, my boy, I'm sorry you only knew of this matter since last night. Why does he keep calling me boy? Things Things have been a tad confused at City Hall as of late. But I must thank you ever so much for taking my case. Or rather, my chauffeur's case. No problem at all, sir. Dear old Matthias? I think that's supposed to be pronounced Matius. Dear old Matius would never hurt a fly, you must understand this. But it is simply terrible to think of what has happened. My dear friend and colleague, dead! And if I hadn't offered a ride home in my limousine, none of this would have happened. I'm so sorry to hear that. Thank you so very much for your kindness, milady. Wait, so I'm a boy, but she's a lady? Pray tell, what is it you do? Your clothes, if I may, are quite garish. Are you an entertainer? Well, I don't know if you'd call me an entertainer. But I certainly am. Mr. Hat. You sly dog. Ha ha! Ha ha! Ha ha! Ha ha! Ha ha! Oh, so very amusing. I've seen it 500 times by now, and I still don't find it amusing. Is Matius here right now, Mr. Dougal? I'm afraid not, my boy. What was that look just now? I know, seriously. It's like we haven't seen that sprite before. But rest assured, it is an innocent man you are defending today. I would not have hired you for this case unless I had every confidence in Matius. I'll do my best, sir. Hey, Apollo, it looks like the trial's starting. Alright, Trucy, I'm coming. First trial in months, and I haven't even met the defendant. Cords of steel, don't fail me now. Here comes justice. Also, sorry if the audio lags. I did a test and it might have, so. Whack. Court is now in session for the trial of Matius Thomas. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is ready, Your Honor. What have I gotten myself into? Mr. Justice, it's been quite a while since I've seen you in my courtroom. Are you quite sure you're still up to this? No problem, Your Honor. I'm fine, really. Perhaps our young defense attorney should have prepared a little more for this case. That hair. I also don't particularly care for that shade of green, Mr. Payne. Someone who loses cases all the time. He's pretty confident today. Come on, Apollo. You can't let him rattle you. Wham. The prosecution will refrain from mocking the defense. Would you please give us your opening statement, Mr. Payne? With pleasure, Your Honor. The victim was Ilva Mora, a well-known member of City Council. I let my paintbrush drop there. Oh well. The defendant, as a private chauffeur, was driving the victim home after a day at the City Hall. While he was driving in, the defendant shot the victim. Shot him dead. The prosecution has decisive evidence to prove that this is the truth. Very well. Would you mind giving us a brief overview of the case, Mr. Payne? Yes, Your Honor. I mean, not at all, Your Honor. On the night of April 2nd, Police HQ received an anonymous tip from a concerned citizen. The caller reported suspicious activity inside a vehicle on the street. A limousine, to be exact. A location and license plate number were given, and the police tracked the vehicle to a parking lot. In it, they found the body, alone, with the defendant in the driver's seat. Bum, bum, bum. Perfect. Incidentally, the victim died of a bullet to the right temple, as per the autopsy report. The court accepts this as evidence. Autopsy report added to the court record. So yeah, this is our court record right here. Instead of it being a tab right about here, it's off to the side, and you can click this button to see all the profiles. I should also probably mention that the investigators are sure that the victim died in the vehicle. The body was not moved from anywhere else. Did the investigators manage to find the murder weapon, Mr. Payne? After some searching, they found the offending pistol under the back seat of the vehicle. It's a fairly standard killing machine, nothing special about it. Well, except for one thing. Marius Thomas's fingerprints are all over it. This is getting worse by the minute. Did you notice Mr. Payne was actually pretty cool for a second there? Yeah, Mr. Payne is fairly out of character for this trial. But actually, yeah, it's still out of character for... See, I just said that. The court accepts the murder weapon into evidence. Pistol added to the court record. Was there no other evidence found in the vehicle, Mr. Payne? A card key to the vehicle was found inside, as well as a few assorted business papers. A card key to a vehicle? Whatever happened to the old metal kind? These kinds of keys are meant for extra security. They operate somewhat like a credit card. Very well. How would the judge know what a credit card is? Anything else to add? There was not much other than that, I'm afraid. However, we do have the specifications of the vehicle in question. Limousine data added to the court record. So, let's see this. Carson Special XL limousine, color white, license plate number, that. License plate is situated on the front of the vehicle. Requires card keys to enter the vehicle. Entrusted only to the owner and chauffeur. The vehicle is approximately 3 years old and has minimal wear and tear. The vehicle measures 10 meters by 3 meters and conforms to the manufacturer's standards. Licensed chauffeurs for this type of vehicle are trained not to allow anyone to enter without bearing a card key. Well, what did the defendant have to say for himself when he was arrested? The defendant refused to speak about what happened, actually. It's as good as a confession. We seem to have a very clear-cut scenario in front of us. Would there be any room for doubt in this case? I think not, Your Honor. Objection! We haven't explored every possibility yet. What other possibilities are there to explore? Unless you know of someone who could give us new insight on the case, this trial is over. I'm afraid I have to agree with the prosecution on this one, Mr. Justice. And I'm sure the jurists would agree as well. Do you know of anyone who could shed some light on the foggier aspect of this case? Absolutely, Your Honor. What? This whole time, we've been hearing about what the police found. But we've ignored how these things came to be in the first place. Uh-oh, we can see some of our life bars flashing. If this drops to 0, we're done. The flashing bit is how much life we're going to lose if we experience that. Why exactly was Marius Thomas driving Ilvermore home? We have yet to find this out. And I know exactly who can tell us. Okay, so it can't be Apollo, it can't be Trucy, it can't be Winston, it can't be Phoenix. can't be Ilva. He's dead. And Matias is the defendant, so it has to be Mr. de Gaulle. Why, Asterisk de Gaulle, of course. The very owner of our limousine crime scene. Ooh, that rhymes. Aha! Mr. de Gaulle is Matias Thomas's employer, and he witnessed the defendant and the victim right before the murder. We need to hear his testimony.
This is trivial, Your Honor. The defense is grasping at straws. It is an open and shut case.
Objection overruled. We need to examine every possible angle of this case before I declare a verdict. And Mr. Justice's request for testimony is a reasonable one.
That's just not fair.
Overruled. In the future, Mr. Payne, try to find a more legitimate objection. Yes, score 1 for the home team. You've got him on the ropes now. Doubt it. Would Mr. Asterisk de Gaulle please take the stand? Will the witness state his name and profession for the court? Doesn't that seem a little pointless to anyone? What do you mean? Wow, he's in dangerous territory now. Well, I was sitting in the gallery, and I couldn't help but notice that you've already stated my name. And so has Mr. Justice, for that matter. Indeed, it seems that even a third grader could deduce my name by following the trial thus far. And since I'm so well known at City Hall, it's not outlandish to think that if one knows my name, one could certainly deduce my profession. Ha 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 ha! I am at a loss for words.
His name is Asterisk de Gaulle, and he's a city council member, Your Honor.
That was what I was just explaining, dear prosecutor. You really need to think sharper, like dear Apollo here. No, please don't bring me into this. Yes, young Apollo. I couldn't have entrusted Matias's case to a finer lad.
What? You're in the defense's camp? That means you're unfit to testify.
Dear prosecutor, are you insinuating that I would compromise justice with my testimony? That I would deliver false testimony in a court of law? I, Asterisk de Gaulle? Because if that is what you are doing, I may have to adjust a few salaries on next year's budget. Ooh, ouch.
The prosecution withdraws its objection.
I kind of feel bad for Mr. Payne now. Yeah, that was a little harsh. Witness! The victim was murdered in your vehicle. Clarify for us how he came to be there. It would be my pleasure, Your Honor. And I've been going for, what, about 15 minutes-ish.